mile in fog patches and showers early Friday, but improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper.
Well, hello again, nail friends. So happy to have you back. Those of you hanging around the door, go ahead, come on in, make yourself comfortable. Today, I'm going to try and recreate this gorgeous set of nails that I found on Pinterest, and I'm just going to use a couple gel polishes to do it. You could probably even do this with regular polish. I don't see why not. This kit was sent to me from Madam Glam. They did give me a code that I can share with you all for 30% off. I'll put that up on the screen as well as in the description. That way, if any of y'all want to check it out, use her up, girl. Get you some bomb gel nail polish. I'm going to swatch these two colors for you really quick. I'll only be using this purple one in the set today, but I did want to show you how pretty this orange was. It's perfect for fall. The white I'm going to use today is from Nail Addict LA. They also have some fantastic polishes. I'm starting with the index finger, and to be honest, I did the marbling on each of these nails in a totally different way from the next. For this one, I did want it to be very, very, very pale purple. So I started out with just putting a sloppy, thin, white layer of nail polish down. And then I took the light purple that I'd mixed up and tried to apply that right over top. Nothing has been cured. As you can see, it's pretty much staying white. So I added a little more purple and just kind of kept brushing that in until it got, until I was happy enough with it, let's say. I wasn't super thrilled with how it was working out, so then I decided to kind of start floating the polish around a bit to give it a little more of a marbled effect. While it's still wet, I just took a liner brush with some of the white nail polish and made those scratchy looking scratches in it. I'm going to apply a second layer to this nail, and this time I added a bit of top coat into my mixture. That way we can see those lines that we've already put on, and it'll give it a little more dimension and make the marbling look a bit more natural. Before we cure that, I'm going to go ahead and make some white lines again, just to make it, again, look a little more dimensional and a little more natural. I'm now going to take the Madam Glam Perfect Black just to make that little corner cuff. Once I'm happy with how that part looks, I'm going to wait to cure it. I'm going to use this McCart holographic glitter, and with just a teensy bit up in the lid, I'm going to use a detail brush to kind of poke that in to the black. Once that's done, it's time to top coat and cure. Now for the second finger, which was the middle finger and easily my favorite in the Pinterest photo. So for this one, I did not put white down first because I felt like it kind of overcame that first nail. This time I tried a different method. I just kind of floated on my purple mixture, and then I'd pick up a little bit of white here and there and add that in. Go back to my mixture, add a little bit of that. So on and so forth until I got it how I wanted it. If you do 2 layers, this doesn't have to be perfect, so don't stress about it. Unlike on the first finger, I cured this base layer before applying the white stripes. I just wanted to see how that would work out. It looks like it's a bit much, but after I applied the second layer, it really came together nicely. On the second layer of this nail, I mixed up the purple, a little bit of white, and some top coat into this and just put on a really thin layer. That way I could have something to work with because I wanted it uncured. I took a little bit of purple and a little bit of white and then just kind of dabbled that in here and there wherever I thought it might look nice. I did this again until I got it how I wanted it to look, and then I stuck that in the lamp for a cure. Now to frame this, we're just going to take one easy step at a time, starting with the bottom. Then I'm just going to put a little dot up in the top middle where I want my lines to meet. But before I go there, I'm just going to follow the edge of the nail all the way up. After I've done that, then I can kind of go from that point in the middle and bring it out towards my outside edges. After that was finished and cured, I added a matte top coat just to make it a bit easier to do the art around the frame. Now I'm not going to lie, this circle was a struggle. It was a circle. Seriously though, I need a new detail brush. I need a new one. It's in bad shape, but I'm going to go ahead and flash cure anything that I don't want to lose. When I practiced this design a couple weeks ago, I put little stars like this on here, but at the time my detail brush was capable of doing the job. I went ahead, I tried again, but it just wasn't working out very well. So this time I decided to just do a couple of those sparkly kind of stars. That way I could just use a dotting tool and my longer liner brush. Then I just added a few dots for something easy that would take up space. And since my dotting tool was working well with me, I decided to use it to make a couple hearts. To finish up the design around the edge, I'm just going to add a couple more of those twinkling stars and some dots and go from there. Initially, I wanted to leave the white parts of this design matte. So I started out applying top coat just to the areas where I wanted to add glitter. And then I began to add said glitter. As you'll see very briefly in a moment, I decided to add a matte top coat over the whole thing. It didn't work, so now for the third finger, or the ring finger, I decided to try the white again for my base. I did not cure that. On top of it, however, I went over that with my mixture. This time, I barely mixed it at all. It looked very marbled as I applied it already. So that took out quite a bit of the process. And like I said earlier, I think each nail looked a little bit better than the last. If you didn't see earlier, the pinky is my favorite. Please stick around for that one. For the striping part this time, I did a top coat again. I'm going to leave that uncured and then just do the stripes kind of halfway up because the top will be painted black, so we don't need to go all the way up. Now I'm just going to take Perfect Black and create my smile line and fill in the black part. So to be honest, this was probably my least favorite nail. When I practiced this one a couple weeks ago, I really loved how it turned out. I'll show you here in a few minutes. I did it completely different though. I filled in the black all the way and then I put the white lines right on top of that and it worked out great. I also had plenty of room to do the little white artwork inside of that. This time I did it differently and I don't recommend doing it this way, but here we are. We're going to go ahead and zoom through this one so you can see the pinky because it was by far my favorite nail. Like I kind of hinted at a minute ago, I wasn't really able to fit in that type of artwork in this tiny little bit of stuff that I left for myself. So I just put a circle in the middle to match it to the middle finger and then just some dots and the glitter. Now it's finally time for the pinky. To be perfectly honest, I can't remember if I cured the white on here. I believe that I did. I, again, left my mix very marbly, but after I did that, kind of like I did the middle finger, yes, this one's similar to how I did the middle finger. I also took some purple, just the pure purple, and added that into spots as well as the white. Using the uncured top coat to do the white lines in has worked the best for me, so that's how we will do it again on this nail. I think that dark purple really added to the lines and the way they look. I don't know. I love, love, love how this nail turned out, and I wish I would have tried it this way from the beginning. I've got to know which nail is your favorite, especially the way the marble was done. Let me know down in the comments which one was your fave. For this nail, we just need to finish up by adding the black cuff and glitter. From here, it looks like the thumb is a bit different than the rest of the set. It almost just kind of looks like a glitter thumb. I almost didn't add it, but I thought, why not? Let's do it. And for this one, I just used some purple mixed with a teensy bit of black, cured that, and then I used one of the Born Pretty reflective gel polishes. This is in the color Fire Tree. I added 2 coats, cured, and, well, after that, let's see what the whole set looks like. Here's the finished set, and the thumb, well, kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. But it's still beautiful all on its own. So, out of the other nails, which one is your favorite if you haven't told me already? Did you like these? Did you have fun? Are you subscribed? Do you have your notifications on? Did you like the video? Okay, in all seriousness, I'm glad to have you here, and I will see you next week.
Dream a little